you all for coming tonight. My name is Sandy Golding, and for those of you who maybe haven't come to a meeting before, I'm the president of Beaches Watch. Beaches Watch is a nonpartisan, nonprofit civic organization, and we were started 10 years ago. This year we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. And anyway, our focus is educating and engaging citizens in the issues that come before our local beaches elected officials. And so we are glad to have you here tonight. We have a really good topic tonight. But before we get started, I want to mention a few things. Let me recognize some of the elected officials that we have here tonight. We have Mayor Harriet Pruitt from Neptune Beach. And we have Councilwoman Carrillo from Neptune Beach. He's not elected, but George Forbes is the city manager for Jacks Beach, and he said he's here to make sure that nothing bad gets said about it.
That's not exactly what I said, but it's close enough.
So anyway, I hope everybody got an agenda when you came in tonight, because there's some information about meetings that are coming up in the next month or so, and we hope that you guys will plan to attend some of these meetings. Oh, and we have Mayor Charlie Latham from Jacksonville Beach, who just walked in. Very important, tomorrow night, there's a school board candidate forum for District 2. District 2 is our district, the Beaches District. It's going to be at Fletcher High School. Beaches Watch, along with some other organizations, are hosting this candidate forum tomorrow night. And it's at the auditorium from 6:30 to 8:30. All the candidates, except for Teresa Graham, will be there. So we hope you guys will plan to go. It's a great opportunity to learn about the candidates that are going to be on the ballot August 26th. And then the following week, August 14th, which is Thursday, Beaches Watch is hosting candidate forum for the Seat 6 District 3 candidates, which is the North District in Jacksonville Beach. And so that forum is going to be at the Beaches Museum Chapel, at the chapel, the little church. So don't go to the museum building, go to the chapel. Again, Beaches Watch does these forums every year for the elections. It's a great opportunity to learn about the candidates that are running for office. And these Jacks Beach candidates will be on the August 26th primary ballot. So we want you guys to come out and learn about them. If you live in that district, you'll be voting for these candidates, and we want you to know more about them before you vote. Then also the primary election, as I mentioned, is the 26th, but there will be early voting August 15th through the 24th, and it will be here in this room in the library. And then of course there's other locations throughout the city. You can go to the Supervisor of Elections website to find out where. There's also budget meetings listed on here. The cities are currently going through their budget process, so we hope that you guys will plan to go to those as well. And then, as I mentioned, the Beaches Watch 10-year anniversary celebration. We're really thrilled because Curtis Loftus has been helping us with all of the materials for our anniversary celebration. We have a wonderful committee that is working on organizing this. So it's going to be a wonderful event. And I wanted to share with you guys a couple of things. This is the poster for the event, and it's beautiful, thanks to Curtis. So I wanted to share that with you. And one of the things that, in addition to celebrating 10 years, we wanted to do something really big. And we wanted to recognize somebody or an organization in the community that's had an impact in those 10 years since Beaches Watch has been in existence. Doesn't have to be a Beaches Watch member or anything like that, but somebody that we felt was exemplary of what's important to the beaches, and community involvement and citizen involvement. And so tonight we're announcing that the person that we will be honoring at the event is Mayor Harriet Pruitt. We're extremely pleased to be able to recognize such a wonderful person who has our beaches community at heart, and we'll be telling more about that, but we hope that everybody will plan to come out. and join us in this celebration, celebrating Beaches Watch and celebrating the great things that Harriet has done. And we do have some sponsorships. I'm going to have these on the table, the Beaches Watch table here. There's an opportunity for a few sponsorships that will just help us cover some of the costs for the event. And then there will be tickets, and we will be selling tickets, but we haven't started the ticket sales yet. But there will be an opportunity for a friend sponsorship, which is $100, and then a Pearl sponsorship, which is $250, and a Cultivator sponsorship, which is $500. And there will be an email going out about it, so if anybody would like to support the event with a sponsorship, we'd be glad to talk to you about it, or you can email us, and I'll send an email out about it as well. So anyway, that's enough of that. Let me introduce you to the speakers we have tonight. We wanted to invite the 3 beach police departments to talk about July 4th and just give us an update, let us know how July 4th went this year for the 3 beach communities. So we have tonight, we have Chief Pat Dooley from Jacksonville Beach. We have Chief Michael Classey from Neptune. And we have Assistant Chief Tony Carrillo from Neptune Beach. Chief Simbach couldn't make it because he's on vacation, so anyway, what we're going to do is each of these guys are going to have 15 minutes. They're going to talk about July 4th, how it went for their respective city, and then also what went well, what kind of problems our police department experienced, and what kinds of things they'd like to do maybe next year to improve the holiday experience for everyone. So we're going to start with Chief Pat Dooley, and we'll let each of them talk about their cities first, and then once they're done, we'll open the floor to questions.
Okay. Thank you all. First of all, I want to thank you all for having us here. We appreciate it very, very much. And I have to say, in Jacksonville Beach this year, that we actually had a pretty good 4th of July. But Mr. Forbes, right before I stepped up here, Mr. Forbes handed me a little note. It's just, 4th of July is bad, and we should not do fireworks. I'm only kidding. He did say that, but that's not what I'm here to say tonight. What I want to tell you tonight is what really took place for us this past 4th of July. And actually, our calls for service were down considerably this year. It was very, very busy. Don't misunderstand me. We had over about 275 calls for service on the 4th of July, which for an agency our size, obviously, is very, very busy, but it was not unmanageable for us. What we did in our planning phases for the 4th of July this year was we looked at it because it was coming on a Friday. We knew that we were going to be looking at a long weekend. So we planned for a long, sustained policing period for us, where we actually opened up a command post and manned it. We had the ability at that command post that any arrests that we had, they'd all be filtered through there, and then we'd make one trip down to the jail. We also were able to take some prisoners downtown for Neptune Beach, so that we weren't losing officers from anywhere in the beaches if we had to make arrests. And quite honestly, our arrests this year were down considerably as well. On the 4th of July, we only made 6 arrests in Jacksonville Beach, which is unbelievable for us. That's a normal Saturday night for us, to be honest with you. Our crowds were heavy, but not the worst I've ever seen by a long stretch. We had a lot of parties in our neighborhoods and those kinds of things. But let me get back to the plan, because I jump around a lot. I don't need to do that. But what we decided to do was, starting on Friday, which was the 4th of July, we were going to go obviously very, very heavy that day. We actually had about 60 of our officers, Jacksonville Beach officers, on duty from probably about noon well into the late hours of the early morning for the 5th. Our goal was to obviously have a heavy, heavy police presence in the downtown area. One of the things that we knew was hopefully going to work to our advantage this year was the fact that some of the other communities in Northeast Florida started having fireworks again. Fernandina had fireworks, Clay County had fireworks again, and as well as St. Augustine, which that meant in our minds, we were hoping that some folks that live in those areas would not travel to our area to come to the beach necessarily and inundate us. And Jacksonville also helped us out considerably. They sent us about 18 of their officers to work directly with us. In addition to those officers, we also had about 25 or 35 traffic officers that were out here to help us with the traffic after the fireworks. So our plan on Friday was to go extremely heavy. We were going to go mid-size to that, have about 35 officers working on Saturday and then again on Sunday. Probably going heavier Sunday afternoon because of previous problems that we've had on Sunday afternoons. And because there's no clear way to predict how many people are going to come. And I don't mean to be a gloom and doom person, but I always plan for the worst and hope for the best. That's what we did in this case. So we had a lot of officers scheduled for Saturday and Sunday as well. The weather worked in our favor on Saturday because
we're catching up with that. However, Friday, we had 36 officers with the help of JSO total. We had 7 that were working street calls, everything west of 3rd Street, which is part of our plan. And the rest of the officers were basically flooding down 1st Street, 2nd Street, and on the beach. We got a couple ATVs and 4-wheel drives that we put on the beach. Again, like Chief Classey said, we have JSO officers working Atlantic Boulevard. They worked every intersection from Atlantic Boulevard and 3rd Street all the way to Kernan Road. And that's just helping us out. I don't know what Jack's Beach had and the other cities, but that's big help for us. Our goal was to basically patrol 1st Street heavily, have a large presence with many officers. We accomplished that goal. We were prepared and planning. Most people don't understand what it takes planning a large event. When you get into it, I mean, you have to look at officer size, of how many you have, where you can post them, the planning of Jacksonville Fire and Rescue, if any major incidents happen. Last year, I wasn't here, but we had the deck that fell, major incident. This year we were planned, we were prepared, we planned, and ready for any type of major incident that occurred. With Jacksonville, with the assistance of Atlantic Beach and Jacksonville Beach. We had staging areas for officers coming from other agencies. We've had staging pads for helicopters if we need them. There's just a lot that goes to it, and the contact people you have to get in touch with to set everything up. When 1st Street gets to a certain point, we try and stage officers at certain hot spots, if you will. Basically, the hot spot is where you have all these bicyclists going south, thank goodness, to Jack's Beach.
We are a destination.
What they do is they have parties on 1st Street, and they'll congregate. And we get, probably 500 that congregate and try and take over 1st Street. And then the middle of the intersections and all that, them are hot spots. So what we try to do is we'll post a couple of officers at each one. This past year, I think there's 3 major hot spots that we had. With that being said, that is to ensure that basically keep traffic flowing. On Saturday, the next day we had 18 officers. A little heavy, but well worth it. Scoot back and forth at 4th of July. We had one incident that could have been major. Thank God it wasn't. We had a little 5-year-old boy that went missing right at the same time the fireworks started. Last seen walking on the water line of the ocean while his parents walked to 1st Street. We flooded the beach with 2 ATVs. We had 2 4-wheel drive vehicles. And last count I had was 10 officers at different locations going down on the beach, all of Neptune Beach looking. And we put out what we call bolos to be on the lookout for the other agencies as well. But good news is we found the child about 8 blocks south walking towards the fireworks. And everything went well for that. I said we arrested 4, or, when you start talking large numbers without the alcohol involved, you're going to have your fights. We expect that. And all of that stuff you really don't hear about, what have you. We were ready. We planned. We did have a few fights. We did. A call for service just for 4th of July. It jumped. Neptune Beach on a typical Friday night, we probably handled 15 calls On a real busy night, 20. Okay? We was well above 100. So we stayed busy. But I guess what we plan on doing different next year, is we're going to look at closing First Street for no parking. That was an issue that we had, the bicyclists kept running into parked cars. So if we take away the parked cars, hopefully that'll solve some issues, but not all. You'll create another issue elsewhere for parking. Where are they going to go? But our beaches stay flooded. I mean, we started at 11 o'clock in the morning, and it was already people out there climbing out houses. We have some other things in mind that I have to talk to Chief Simbach about as far as next year. But like Chief Dooley said, we take a lot from this year going into next year's planning. Okay, we're not just going to change the dates, but we have to look and see, what we have to do to make it better and safer for the citizens and the community and the folks visiting. Personally, when you're on a bicycle and you have alcohol there related, their welfare means nothing to them. I mean, like I said, they crash to each other, crash into pedestrians, they crash into parked cars, stop signs, poles. It's just what they do. But we want our citizens in Neptune Beach to be safe. We want them to feel like they're safe. And we want them to call, if they feel something's wrong. Not, oh my goodness, there's a firework going off, do I need to call? If you think you need to call for that, call us. That's what we're there for. We will respond. But our big push is, let's keep our community safe.
Okay, so let's open the floor to questions. Do we have any?
Yes, Pat McGann from Jacksonville Beach, this question for Chief Dooley. Just see, the fireworks were beautiful on the pier. Living south of the pier, it seemed like from the pier all the way down to the county line, there was just continuous fireworks going on the beach. I mean, it wasn't just sparkling, just stuff was shooting way up in the air. I was concerned both for people, the kids walking on the beach, plus I thought some of them were going to hit the wars with it. Is there anything to be done about it? It was way after midnight too. I mean,
what we do is we actually put officers down there on ATVs, and people that are shooting those fireworks, we actually seize those. We end up with several barrels full every year that we seize. It's a constant ongoing battle. Part of the problem is they see us coming, quite honest with you. And as soon as they see us coming, we're 2 blocks away. If we don't see who shot the fireworks or can't see the fireworks, then we can't take the fireworks away from people until we see them. So
it is illegal?
in Jacksonville Beach, it's illegal to.
I thought it was probably illegal because it was so prevalent.
Here's what Jacksonville Beach has unique laws that pertains to fireworks. If it basically goes up in the air or if it explodes, it is against the law in Jacksonville Beach, and that's a municipal ordinance. Okay, so although it may not be illegal to buy some of those in other parts of the county, if you sign your little waiver saying that you're using them for agricultural purposes, it's not true. If you do that and you bring them to Jacksonville Beach, they are against the law, and we will seize them. And if people don't want to surrender them to us, then we can issue a notice to appear, or we can arrest. And choose not, we don't like to do that for fireworks, but we will if we have to. It's an ongoing process, though. We have a lot of fireworks calls, and the problem is on the 4th of July, we do get inundated with calls. So sometimes we're not there as fast as we would on a normal night because we have so many calls backed up. And we do prioritize our calls. For instance, when we had the young man who was struck by the car, that is very labor intensive for us because we had to block all of A1A. We have a lot of things going on. We have a helicopter landing on A1A. It takes a lot of people to do that, to manage that. The lower priority calls, unfortunately, do go to the back burner in that case. But we do get there and we pick them up as we can, and we start to free up officers. But that also happens, you know, in the downtown area when we try to keep the officers looking for those fireworks and seizing them whenever we can. I wish we could get more, but it's a very difficult battle when we're one small area that doesn't allow fireworks like that, and yet you can buy them everywhere. And so it's an uphill battle for us, to be honest with you, but we do respond to those. And I know there are a lot of residents, including myself, who get frustrated with fireworks going off in the middle of the night. But when you have that happening, please call us. And you might not get that the first time, you might not get them the second time, but eventually we will get them. It's a process sometimes. It might not be the answer you want, but it's the truth. Yes, ma'am.
But if you just confiscate them and not find them, then they know that they're not going to get in trouble. And so word travels pretty fast, that all they're going to do is...
If we do contact cards on those people. If they're repeat offenders, you know, we're going to write them a citation the second time. But, you know, it's difficult to arrest people for fireworks when we're trying to police, you know, all these extra
What about a
thousands of people.
ticket? Can't you write a ticket?
We can, and we do in certain cases, but we don't do it in every case. I mean, I'm being very honest with you.
Right.
Our goal is to get compliance.
No, I'm not...
We can take the
I'm not
fireworks.
saying you should,
I
I'm just
understand.
curious, you know.
But if we encounter that same person the second time with fireworks, they do get the citation. But the first time we do a contact card on them, and then when we run their name, it's going to pop up that we had a previous contact with them. Well, what was that contact for? What was for fireworks? Well, okay, there was your warning, buddy, sorry. Then you get the ticket. But we normally seize the fireworks the first time. And the reason we do that is because that's going to solve the problem in most cases. Because we don't just take the one they're shooting off. We take thousands of dollars. I'm not kidding, we have wheelbarrows full of this
And do
stuff.
they have the same, it's illegal?
I don't know. Do you have the same?
Is it illegal to shoot fireworks?
That is state law.
Oh,
So it's the same in Jacksonville.
You can't sell them in Jacksonville.
Oh, you can't, okay, yeah.
what?
You know they're illegal if you're signing it that you're using these to scare off birds off your farmland. That's literally the loophole in the law that they have to get by. And obviously, you know, it's a joke, quite honestly. But, you know, we have the same or a similar city ordinance that Jacksonville Beach does, that we can just write a local ordinance citation to actually charge somebody with a violation. That's what we choose to do.
Same with Neptune Beach, and I know they sell them in Jack's Beach down 3rd Street in different areas. We don't even allow that in Neptune Beach.
So we don't let them sell the ones that explode or go in the air. Our fire department inspects those places all the time for that purpose. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
I don't have a question, I have a comment and a statement.
Sir?
I'm Tim Ingram, and I live in Neptune Beach. I live at 113 Pine. I also own the house on the corner at 905 First Street. So July 4th kind of impacts me in multiple ways. And what I want to say to you guys, I don't want you to tar and feather me and run me out of town, because I probably have a little different perspective on July 4th. But I want to establish myself in this way. When I was a young man in undergraduate and graduate school going to college, I thought I was going to go into federal law enforcement. So I worked as a police officer for 3 years. And so I worked the streets, academy trained, certified. Then psychology just intellectually seduced me away. And so I've been practicing for the past 30 years. And Chief Dooley, with your department, I've been credentialed with EAP consultants for a number of years. So on occasion, I see your officers and firefighters in my own private practice. So that's my way of saying that in a very real way today, the psychological needs of our firefighters and police officers I see in my practice. And I was one of you guys many years ago. I had concerns about, without any real historical context that established the need for the number of officers in Neptune Beach, because how it came across to me, particularly being trained as a social scientist, was almost the sheer numbers seemed to be, whether it was intentional or not, came across almost in a sense, the way a bully would do something on the playground. It tries to intimidate people. So it almost seemed as if the sheer volume of officers had this intimidating effect in an attempt to maintain social order. And I don't think we really, I've lived in Neptune Beach 26 years. I adore my community. And I don't think we really have the historical context. We didn't have anybody with a bomb. We didn't have double murders, homicides. We didn't have the president coming to town. It just seemed like it was a bit much. I understand, and at one point, I think the volume, and I understand your plan, I think the volume inadvertently almost created issues with all of the police cars on First Street. So having said that, that's also, I want to let you guys know I support you guys completely. I just want to know if there's a way that we can maintain order and ensure the public safety and liability, because as an example, owning the property next door, back in the days, you may recall, homeowners could essentially adopt part of city right-of-way. Of course, as you know, that you can't even plant a flower. Now, that's how times have changed. But I essentially, when my wife and I bought the property, we entered an agreement with Neptune Beach that I will take that 80 linear feet along First Street. And I literally did. I went to Tucker in and got a tiller, and I tilled it up myself. I said, I will take care of it. I'll plant foliage, I'll lay the sod, I'll have Scott Houlihan put in the irrigation system, and I'll take care of it and make it look beautiful. So I've done that for 13 years. And I was somewhat appalled that I put a chair and a table out there on the grass that wasn't impeding traffic on First Street, and it wasn't impeding the movement on the sidewalk, and yet an officer came by and told me that I would have to move my table and chair, a place that 364 days out of the year I can actually sit. So then it made me wonder with other events, like you mentioned, like Donna Deegan, and I know Tim and Donna because they're right down the road in the landmark. And this is nothing about them personally, this is about the event. So where do we draw the line? I mean, if liability and public safety is an issue and you don't want to block the streets, then what do we do about the run, the 26.2 mile run where people, and I know that it's a permitted event, but that doesn't diminish the same concerns. So then,
Mr. Ingram, I apologize, but we have other people that want to ask questions, so
sure.
could you kind of get to your question?
Right, so my question is, can we, in order to ensure public safety, is there a way that perhaps we don't need to have quite a presence of officers and still be able to maintain social order? And or, here's another suggestion. Why don't we just close off from Cherry to Seagate and make it all pedestrian friendly and then not have any vehicles on First Street?
How about bikes?
Oh, have bicycles.
Well, first, let me say, it's better to have and not need than to need.
I'm with you. Right, I'm with you, totally.
With that being said,
Right.
we're not there to bully people. We're there to keep law and order, basically.
I understand.
Organized chaos with 8,000 bicyclists, okay? We don't have the manpower to block every intersection.
Right.
Not even with the 36 officers that we had.
Okay.
Jacksonville, they bring in over 200, 300 officers from Jax Beach to Neptune Beach alone because, again, we have 19 officers. Those that work, I have generally 6 officers that work every year for Donna Hickey run.
Sure.
Other than that, JSO picks up every intersection that we have. We can't do that.
Sure.
So, when we can, yes, we have a lot of officers there, but it is officer safety as well. You have to look at, you have one officer that goes and tries to clear something and everybody surrounds him. That's bad, really bad, okay? You don't go into a crowd by yourself. You don't let the crowd circle you, okay?
No. Sure.
As far as your other concern, 4th of July, we started at 5:45 in the morning. We would not allow anything on city right-of-way. That means sidewalks, the little grass area, the parking area on First Street, any of that. Nothing could be set up, whether it was a water a slide or any other type of slides, little swimming pools. tables, chairs. We just did not allow that. And if you're appalled by it, I apologize, but we're going to do that again next year.
Was that just on First Street or on
Yes.
every street?
No, just on First Street.
I would like to make a comment. All of this.
Thank you.
I want to thank you very much. I think the city of Jacksonville Beach has done an excellent job. Both the mayor, city manager, the police chief, and I'm really impressed having gone to a couple meetings recently here, the presentations I've seen, recently at Jacksonville Beach City Council meeting, several of the Atlantic Beach Council meetings, and being living in the beaches area for over 20 and Duval County almost 30 years. I think you guys have done an outstanding job, party or not, you got my vote. And just wanted to say that. The other thing is an observation. The holiday did fall on Friday or Thursday this last two times.
Friday.
When it starts falling on the other end, especially if it's on a Monday, I think things are going to be different. And it will be a couple more years down the line. It'll actually start switching that pendulum. I've noticed that over the years of living in South Jax Beach for over 20. And personally, I can't stand the holiday. I like to stay inside. Walking is it's dangerous for bicycles and cars where I live. It's so congested. And, driving. But, people do have to go to work. Some people now, I don't now at this point in my life, but people have to get around. And bicyclists are just as, man, they don't follow the rules, a lot of them. Skateboarders, tourists, I mean, it's you got to park at that crossing there in 16th and South. I mean, it's something to deal with every day. So I think you've all done a great job, and that's the only thing I think about in the future is that the weather was also not so great that day, and the timing of the holiday.
Yes,
so, thank you.
And we agree with you very much. Thank you.
Are all of the police officers in uniform, which we have any officers, particularly on those weekends, that patrol out of uniform?
I can speak for Jacksonville Beach. All of our officers are in uniform, and that's purely because of the fact that my personal feeling is that it's more important to have that presence, contrary to what you may believe. Obviously, I agree to disagree with you, but I like that presence. We did have some people from JSO that came in that were in plain clothes, but they were identified as police. I'm not as fond of that, but I take the help where I can get it when it's free. And so I appreciate the fact that they were there with us. But normally all of our people are going to be in uniform. Now there might be an exception to that if I have a call out or something with the detectives or something, because I do still have major crimes and concerns to be concerned with there. Mr. Forbes.
Well, I just want to talk to the Neptune Beach chief. As one of the guys on the bike riding through Neptune Beach, if you get those JSO officers who couldn't block in the road, I just thought Harry was in one of those cars.
Thank you for your input, Mr. Forbes.
Ma'am, to answer your question, everyone in Neptune Beach was in uniform. When we asked Jacksonville, we asked them to be in uniform. So all the officers for Neptune Beach and Jacksonville that worked in Neptune Beach all were in uniform.
We had two that were in plain clothes driving unmarked cars.
I just had one question, more of a comment, because I didn't go down to the fireworks this time, because I was kind of worried about the situation, but I have gone down there every single year, pretty much for the last 35 years. And it seems to me that the issue with the fireworks, the people shooting fireworks off, is more of a concern when we have high tide. Because
Absolutely.
it's driving all those people in the
Time is a big concern for us because when it pushes all those people up and then, there's less people, less room for people to spread out. And we can't get around down there. And I mean, I don't like taking our SUV trucks down there at all because it's too dangerous in my opinion. We've kind of backed away from that and gone to using SUVs down there only in an emergency situation. And we've gone to more ATVs. We've been lucky that the council supported us in that and given us more ATVs. So we use those whenever we can. But when those crowds get that thick, you're right, it's very difficult for us to move. And it only takes that long for a child who's, Chief Carrillo was explaining, one that wandered off. On a typical Saturday, we'll have 25 kids go missing during the day. And that is gut-wrenching for me because I worry about that one that's not just wandered off or something bad's happened. That's one thing I wish, if I could stress one thing, please, parents, hold on to your kids. That's so very, very important, because but it's a big deal on the beach, absolutely.
And that was just a very quick question, sorry to pick on Neptune Beach.
It's okay.
I think you're fully right. I live on First Street. I think you're right. Our mayor getting the word out absolutely changed the tenor of what happened out there. But all those bikes, have you all considered doing bike lanes? I mean, I saw my car got hit like 3 times. I saw other people hitting police cars with their bikes. I mean, can they not split it up? I'm just asking questions. I was curious. You could do a bike lane out there.
Well, technically, there is a bike lane. I agree 100%. There is a bike lane. You go south and you go north. And you're supposed to obey the traffic laws, same as you do as a motor vehicle. However, we know that's not going to happen. And when you get that many people on bicycles, they kind of just smash, because nobody rides in a single line. I mean, if you took First Street and made it all southbound into Jack's Beach and lined up 5 bicycles across and just had people stacked behind them in 5s, you still wouldn't have enough room.
Yes, ma'am.
Diane?
Me?
Yes, ma'am.
I know we're talking about 4th of July, and I'm sure, I just want to know about alcohol. I live at Jack's Beach. And is it illegal to drink alcohol on the beach or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and then what is your policy? Because I mean, I find all the time, all your, big bottles, and
That we arrest them.
But people drink
You
in
do?
cups.
Yes, ma'am. And the first time we encounter somebody
if you find someone drinking,
drinking in public, we will arrest them. Yes, ma'am. The first time they get a notice to appear, and the second time they go to the county jail.
really,
Yes, ma'am.
and they do it that much anyway.
Yes,
So
It's come from Jacksonville, most of them.
But I'm surprised they can get away with such big bottles and so many beer
Late at night.
bottles.
Well, it goes back to the volume question. There's a lot more visitors than there are police.
Absolutely.
And, and I'm not trying to be flippant, please don't.
No,
misunderstand.
I'm just,
We just can't catch them all.
Yeah.
And when we see it and it's obvious, we can deal with it, we do. I mean,
yeah.
I stress that to the officers. We made, I want to, and don't quote me on this, but it was right around 5,000 arrests last year. Well, not just alcohol total, but a good portion of those are alcohol related in some fashion. So, alcohol is a big part of what we deal with on a daily basis out there. So yes, in answer to your question.
And no one wants to be a snitch, but.
Well, let me
Yeah,
the word snitch, okay? We all want our community to be clean, we want it to be
have fun,
safe, we
too.
want it to be livable. And the people that don't live there, that come there and trash it, or don't respect your property or your laws, are the people that are doing this most often. We know that from our arrest histories. So to say that it's snitching, that's not the case. They're not being respectful of the residents at the beach. When this goes back, I believe it's strong when people come across the bridge and they leave their manners over there. They come out here and they're at the beach, it doesn't matter what they do. That's not true. This is our home and we care about it. And so if you see something, and it doesn't matter, I'm sure I'm speaking for the other chiefs as well, if you see something that makes you uncomfortable or shouldn't be happening, the only way we can fix that is if you call us right then. If you call and complain or send us an email later, it's after the fact that we can't fix it.
No, I've
But we want to address
been
those
amazed
things.
how fast you come, if the 2 times I have called, but it was for like really wild behavior.
Well,
that,
we have a good response time. We have a great response time for emergency calls.
Yeah.
We have a pretty good response time for non-emergency calls as well. It's under 5 minutes. So
Very good.
please pick up the phone and call.
You want to be called for alcohol consumption?
Anything. This is your home. You pay for our service. You pay for it every day. You might not realize that we send you a bill, but you're getting paid. Or you're paying for a service.
You don't find that as annoying if someone calls about
Absolutely.
alcohol?
You pick up the phone and call the police anytime. Absolutely. The mayor's about to jump out of his seat. He wants to say something.
Well, let's not talk about alcohol right
Except for you.
Most
I'm
people
at New
don't feel
Beaches.
bad alcohol. I do want to say that I'm very proud of all of you. I'm very proud of all the people that you serve with. I don't spend any time in Atlantic Beach and Neptune Beach, but I spend a tremendous amount of time with Chief and his people. They have the most uncanny ability to maintain control while at the same time demonstrating the most superior customer service attitude I've ever seen. When their 4th of July or Memorial Day comes around, I can assure you, I've served in combat twice. It's the closest I've ever been to combat. And when that situation evolves, there's really not a lot of time to lecture or to impart a standard. It's a direct and you move. And that's what these guys do so well. And my hat's off to all of you. I think you're doing a tremendous job. And thanks very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank y'all for keeping us safe on July 4th. And what, you can't please everybody, but you kept us safe, you kept traffic moving, people had a good time, we had nothing really bad happen this year. But what a lot of people don't realize is, when you look down Beach Boulevard, and you look down Atlantic Beach, and you look through all of the county is growing in leaps and bounds. Listen to the hundreds of apartments coming on Beach Boulevard. And where are they coming on July 4th? They're coming through Neptune Beach, back through Neptune Beach, Jacksonville Beach, Atlantic Beach, by the thousands. And in the next 5 years, I predict it's going to be a whole lot worse. And I want to thank y'all for coming up with a plan. And it will constantly change, I'm sure. But thank you for all you do for the beaches. We are 3 beaches, but we're still one community, and we appreciate it.
I just want to add something to the comment that you had said, because Chief Dooley was right. He certainly was speaking for me on this topic as well. But I always tell people, I'd rather have you call and it be nothing, and we can dispel it at that time, rather than find out something bad happened later. But what you're talking about is an actual violation of the law. There should be no question in your mind that you should call. And what I started off with when I said the discussion about having meetings like this with people from the community, our whole philosophy in Atlantic Beach is building community relationship, building partnerships, and the police they can't be everywhere, okay? So the citizens or the visitors of the city serve as eyes and ears for us, okay? And we would much rather you bring those problems to our attention immediately and let us deal with it than, again, to find out after the fact and there's little to nothing we can do about it. So it's a good question.
Okay, so real quick, we need to wrap up, so this will be the last one.
Chief Carrillo, this is for you. I just want to let you know that because of my prior experiences, obviously I still have a concealed weapons permit and I'm comfortable with firearms. I've caught 2 at gunpoint and held them for you guys to come in my 26 years. One about 3 months ago, he got over my back wall when I came around with my firearm pointed at him at 3 in the morning. But that's my way of saying, if you guys ever need my assistance, I may have a few years on me, but I'm always willing to help.
Let me make one pitch. Atlantic Beach, we just started up the Citizen Police Academy program. We did our first one this spring. Sure. Jacksonville's been doing it for years. It's a great program. Jacksonville, sorry. They've been doing it for years. We've got our second one coming up starting on August 27th. We still have several seats available. So if any of you are interested or you know of anybody who's interested, and get in touch with the department, we'll get the application. If you've got a good email list, we'll pitch. I appreciate that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so thank you all very much. I just want to remind everybody, the September meeting is going to be September 3rd. It'll be at 7 o'clock. And I'll send you information in our e-newsletter about the topic for that meeting. And then, again, our 10-year anniversary celebration is September 27th, which is a Saturday, and that's going to be from 6 to 9. If you would like to do a sponsorship, there's some information on the Beaches Watch table, and we hope you guys will plan to come out and join us in the celebration. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Okay.